The following presentation was recorded at a technology conference hosted by JVS Chicago. This is Paul Cameron, headhunter with Drive Staff, and the subject of my presentation is Linkitbook, a step-by-step process I created to use LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook in combination to proactively land a job. Believe me, try this. It works. Enjoy. I want to show you how to use LinkedIn in conjunction with Twitter, in conjunction with some of these aggregators, one on top of the other, so you run a quick search through all of these tools, and you're going to get yourself in front of these employers. Okay? First things first, I got to just throw this out there because I'm in job search every day, I'm talking to candidates every day. You've got to set your priorities first. What's the most important thing to you right now? Watching that reality TV show or getting a job? Sleeping in on February 16th or getting a job? I mean, realistically, 6 months from now, are you going to remember what was even on that episode of whatever that reality TV show is? Probably not. But you're going to remember that you got a job that day, right? So you got to think to yourself, you know, what are the 5 most important things in my life? Whatever those 5 most important things are in your life, your career is almost always going to make the list. That reality show will almost always never make that list, all right? Or at least it shouldn't ever make that list, right? So you've got to set your priorities. And every time you're sitting in front of that show, you're saying, this show is more important than me finding a job. All right, now if you really think that through, you're starting to think, oh, well, I got to be searching for a job 24/7. How stressful is that? All right, well, we can reduce the stress. Just create a daily action plan for yourself. Set however many things, 10 things. If I do these 10 things, and make them challenging things, not go get coffee as your first thing, right? But things that, if I do these 10 things over the course of the entire day, I know if I keep doing these things, something great's going to happen. Right? So then when you're sitting down watching that TV show at the end of the day, it's deserved. Now that little voice pops in your head, oh, you should be looking for a job. Nope. You know what? I did what I was supposed to do today. I'm going to do it again tomorrow. And if I keep doing it, I'm going to find a job. All right? So first things first, we've got to set our priorities. All right, now let's talk about making some of these jobs. LinkedIn. You've got to understand LinkedIn is there to give you access. It gives you access to people and from people. People can find you, you can find them. The bigger your network is, the more effective that tool is for you. Here's my network. I printed this out on Monday, okay? So I had 15 people look at my profile on Monday. 65 people had me come up in a search. I'm personally connected to 4,167 people directly. I had 20,654 people join my network that day. These are people's profiles that I can see now, and their job titles and their histories. Why is that important? Well, if I'm putting together a target list of companies, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for people who do what I do. Let's say, for example, I'm an iPhone developer. I'm not looking for companies right now, I'm looking for people. All right, so you see the little people tab at the top of the screen? I'm going to click on Advanced. All right, you see me clicking on that? Advanced. That's going to bring up this big screen down in the middle. All right, now in the Advanced People search, I'm going to put in iPhone developer, and let's say 60532, just for fun. Because, I don't know, there might be an iPhone development company out in that direction.
Somewhere in the wild.
Well, yeah, somewhere out there. All right, so I'm going to do a people search. Now, when I did this particular search, I had 22 people come up in my results for specifically iPhone developer. Now, if I had a network of 100 people versus 4,100 and however many, how many people are going to come up on that search? Not a whole lot. All right? So the bigger my list, the better it is. So now I'm going to go through those 22 people, and I'm going to try to see where did they work prior to. The question came up earlier here in the middle of the room, who's doing iPhone development here in the Midwest? All right, State Farm's doing it. Now that's kind of a far commute for somebody in Lyle. They got to go all the way down to Bloomington. Razorfish, they're right downtown. What about the Tribune? They're doing iOS development. Now that says iOS engineer. Bing, hey, there's an idea. I could do another search on iOS engineers and do this all over again. iOS developer at Sears. All these big companies, they've got to be relevant. They're developing these apps. I mean, how many clients does Lextech has, and just in this area, right? So these companies are developing that, even though it's not an app development company or an iPhone development company, it doesn't mean they're not developing an app. Right? And there's lots of these companies here in Chicago who are doing this. So now I've got these 4 companies who I know hire iPhone developers. I'm an iPhone developer. Okay, so now I'm going to do a quick search for people at those companies. All right, so I do another advanced people search, starting over. I put in Razorfish, for example, because that came up on my search. I put in 60532 in my results. Well, there's the technology director at Razorfish. Again, if I had a very small network in LinkedIn, I'm probably not going to come up with that person. But I have a large network, so he came up in my search. So now, using Twitter, I'm going to go find him. All right, so I'm going to go see if I can find this guy. He's a technology director. He's probably on Twitter, right? So I'm going to go find his Twitter feed, and I'm going to start following him. I'm going to watch what he posts, and I'm going to comment on what he posts. I'm going to compliment what he posts. Hey, that was a great article. Thanks for sharing. Now my name's getting in front of this guy over and over again. So when I call him, he's going to know who I am. Make sense? So I'm going to do this with all of these companies. I'm going to all the companies that we're targeting here. Follow all of them. Utilize tools like TweetDeck. If you're not familiar with how to use Twitter effectively, grab TweetDeck. It's free, and you can organize all these tweets. You got 1,000 tweets coming from everywhere. So I can put, here are the technology managers I'm following and what they're tweeting. Here's the iOS development jobs that I'm following. Here's, my Chicago Bears news, whatever. And you can categorize this stuff so you can follow it properly. Tweet My Jobs, another great resource on Twitter that you can use. Then I'm going to go to these aggregators that are out there, like Indeed.com or SimplyHired.com. Hopefully everybody's familiar with Indeed.com, SimplyHired.com, most everybody. If you're not, it's like a Google, but for jobs. All right. The thing is, you need to be accurate in the information you're putting in there to get the best results. If you're not familiar with search strings, do a Google search on search strings. You'll come up with I don't know how many articles on how to do it, and they'll walk you through specifically how to put together search strings to get very specific results. But like, for example, in Indeed.com, if I was searching for jobs at Lextech, I'd put company : Lextech for jobs in Lisle. All right, no spaces in there. I just put it right in there. And at the bottom of it, and Indeed or a lot of these, you're going to see this little alert thing in the middle that says, get updates on Lextech jobs in Lisle. I put in my email address, paul@drivestaff.com. Save alert. Every day, I'm going to get an email. So Chad, if you post a new job, I'm going to know about it. And I may call you. But follow your target companies on Facebook. This whole avenue of advertising on Facebook, creating a Facebook company webpage, is still pretty new. We just heard earlier in a panel stuff, we're doing some Facebook stuff, not a lot, which means it's new, it's exciting. Somebody's going to set that up brand new at that company. If they have a company page, the executives are looking at that page, HR is looking at that page to talk about why they should justify having it. All these people are staring at that page to see who's a fan on the page. What are they saying about our product? Get on that page and comment. We recently, it's like 3 months old, is our Facebook page for Drive Staff. I watch that thing constantly. I'm like, ooh, who just posted what on our page? Trying to figure out who's out there. We've got only like 500 and some followers right now, but we're excited every time we get a new one. And you get on there, you're posting, you're liking, you're doing whatever you can, all positive comments. I wouldn't get on there and rip their website trying to constructively help them, right? Get on there and positively comment. They're going to see your name over and over again. Now it's not such a cold call when you call them. They recognize your name. They see you proactively chasing them specifically. One of the interview tools I always use with my candidates prior to going in, you want to be as likable as you possibly can. Just basic psychology. It's easy to like someone who you know already likes you. Right? You got two people who want to take you to a dance. One wants to go with you because they like you. The other one just doesn't have a date. Who are you going with? Of all things being equal, right? So keep that in mind. You're going to make them see you. In mobile technology, all right? As we know, there's millions of apps out there. Do a search. Find an app. Indeed's got an app. Simply Hired's got an app. Dice.com has an app. All these things have an app. Put it on your phone so that way the next time you're sitting there watching the show and it's a commercial break, you can look for a position, right? You can spend that time. Now, what are you going to remember 6 months from now? That commercial, about the two bears and the Coke or whatever it is, or landing a job. But that brings us back to the beginning here. What's your priority? Would I rather watch these commercials, or would I like to get on my phone and see what else I can find? Okay? So, Here's all my contact information. I hope I didn't go too far over. If you have any questions, if you send me an invite on LinkedIn, I will accept it, as you know. Check out our Facebook page, please, and like it if you would. We'd love that. And any information here, please check us out.
Well, what are you recruiting for right now?